because I wanted to tap into something that I was getting critique from my career, because I was doing records that were important to me. I wanted to do records with Faith Evans and the Neptunes and Mary J. Blige and Anthony Hamilton and stuff like that. I put them on this album, Beautiful Struggle. And I grew up listening to 70s funk soul, just like y'all did, the stuff y'all talk about, those eras. I'm born in 1975, so I was born into it. I desire lush arrangements and sounds and layers and things sounding analog and great voices. So my hip hop is informed from that. I came out on Raucous, and there was like a whole subgenre that developed under the hip hop I came out where it's more about like this more cold, staticky, underground feeling, where it wasn't about anything warm from what I could tell. It was more about beats and rhymes and stuff like that. So I was getting older, and I wasn't as cutting edge on the underground hip hop scene as I was. So I tapped into what Madlib was doing as a way to connect with that, because to me he was still super, super underground when the underground crowd was looking at me as a little bit more commercial. I was like, I want to do something with someone who's not focused on any of that. Because I just gave them this what people considered commercial album. It's not what I considered it, but that was the feedback. And so this record in particular, it breaks, it's two of my favorites coming together, but it breaks the rules in a lot of different ways. Like the first thing I noticed about it was there are songs where there's instrumentals, and Madlib says they're instrumentals to let you know. They were in sort of two different spaces. MF Doom is like a non sequitur rapper. He's not really sticking to a subject. It's just about rhyme schemes and rhyme patterns. And as an MC, I know there's probably a lot of MCs in the building. If you're a fan of Doom, you're a fan of he makes you jealous. He makes you wish that you thought to rhyme terry cloth kangos with very soft mangoes. You'd be like, how did I not come up with that? You know what I'm saying? And I talk a lot about Doom as an MC, but Madlib is no slouch either. And my favorite song off of this, Madlib is not known to get deep like that, but he's more about, when he raps, he doesn't rap that often. When he raps, it's more about weed and making rap songs. That's what the subject matter is. Yeah, making records. I dig, I smoke weed, I listen to beats, repeat. You know what I'm saying? But there's a record on here, Madlib also spiritually, he's very connected with certain jazz artists, and he has a jazz band, Yesterday's New Quintet, where he's like, it's the same thing that Don Blackman did, where he's coming up with all the arrangements, and then he's having people come in and play him over at times, or sometimes it's just him. But he's very connected with Sun Ra spiritually as an artist. And the way that Sun Ra saw music, I feel like Madlib has always been trying to attain that. And there's a song on here called Shadows of Tomorrow, which I believe is a sample of a Sun Ra song. The lyrics is sort of Madlib and Quasimodo, which is Madlib's alter ego, breaking down sort of a Sun Ra-ish philosophy of life. And it's so deep, just like Doom made me jealous with the very soft mangoes. Like these lyrics to Shadows of Tomorrow, because I'm thought of as an MC that writes very academic and very heady and sometimes complicated conceptually. This record is something that I definitely wish I wrote. Like when I heard this, I'm like, man, and it's so good. I'm gonna keep it real with you. It's so good that I was like, he must have read this in a book. Like he didn't write this. And one day I spent an hour on the internet looking for the origins of these lyrics. I did, like, and no disrespect to Madlib, but like I said, I'm a fan of Madlib from Lupac days. You know what I'm saying? Lupac was like a 24-track album on Stones Throw back in the days. It was the first thing that brought me to be a fan of Stones Throw. And this album is really like Lupac, because you got DJ Rome doing cuts on it. You got Wild Child on it. Madlib made all the beats for the Lupac album, so it really feels like MF Doom featuring Lupac, or Lupac featuring MF Doom. But that album, like it was, like you said, it was every single song is about this sort of experience of being a hip hop artist. Like I smoke weed, I listen to rap. And this song was like, I'm like, he got this from Sun Ra. They sampled Sun Ra on the song Talking. But I Googled over and over again. And I came to the conclusion, I think Madlib wrote these lyrics. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, there's records on here, like this record with Raid, which fans of the Boondocks, there's a scene in the Boondocks when when Sam Jackson and Charlie Murphy played the White Boys, and they're like who go to Iraq and now they're in the neighborhood, the Onslers. And there's a scene when they think Oprah is coming to the Barnes and Nobles, but she's at the Borders instead. And they want to kidnap Oprah, but they end up kidnapping Maya Angelou instead. But that scene is very action-packed, and during that scene, they're playing this record, Raid. And that watching the Boondocks, hearing that record in the Boondocks gave me another appreciation for that particular song. Yeah, man, it's just there's things that Madlib is doing, there's things that Doom is doing, things that Madlib is doing. This is them at the top of their game. There's a song here called Bistro where Doom is just like acting like he's the host of some lounge. You know, he's not even rapping on it. I enjoy the freedom of it, it's interesting that they had to sort of isolate themselves away from everything else that was going on in the music business to put out a record that's so free like this. So yeah, I mean, you know, yeah. Let's see, you want to hear it? I think what I really do like about that record is they were using technology to try to achieve a lo-fi sound because of the way they were trying to capture a sound that they grew up on. And it's, you know, like that record is one of the more darker, deeper, serious cuts on the album, but it still employed like this sort of like, I feel like Madlib was watching a lot of Scooby-Doo. Or like watching like a lot of dramas, like 70s dramas with car chases. You know what I'm saying? A lot of blaxploitation flicks. Like there's a lot of like the music and the sounds. There was a lot of instrumentation and arrangement going on in TV shows from the 70s, game shows, commercials, because they weren't making that background music with computers. They had to bring bands in to make all that back. A lot of that stuff is ingrained in us. It's in our DNA. And I think you know, from watching kung fu flicks on Saturdays to reading comics to you know to Hanna-Barbera cartoons and all that stuff, like that's what those sounds remind me of. The Madlib sound. And I think I like it. You know, I think it's interesting because it's children who were born in that era now trying to get back to that. You know, and I think it's interesting now that vinyl, because of that, now there's a new generation of people who are discovering vinyl, and from what I can tell, numbers-wise, like vinyl is helping to sort of keep a large parts of the music business afloat because it's the only thing that people are still willing to buy because of how it sounds. There's a whole generation of kids who grew up on WAV files and MP3s. They've never heard things in this full sound.
It's how it sounds and how it feels.